What's good, everybody? Hope y'all are having a super blessed day, and welcome back to Sharpe Sports. So this is the second edition of my NFL mock draft, and guys, it has been absolutely wild. After a ton of the big name free agents either signed elsewhere or continue with their team, especially the Tom Brady domino that we really all needed to fall so we could really kind of organize the draft, every single time one of them alerts would hit my phone, I had to go back to this mock draft and readjust it. So guys, please give this video to 500 likes. I've put so much time, not only into the first mock draft video, which if you haven't seen, you guys can go right there, but also this version 2.0. So guys, just leave this video a like. So jumping into it, the first pick, the Cincinnati Bengals are, again, they're taking Joe Burrow. Not only does this make sense from a team need perspective, they need a franchise quarterback, but also from a business perspective, Joe Burrow is gonna bring so much money. There's probably so many season tickets already being sold, way more than last year, simply because he's going to be there. So this just makes sense from both football and business sides. And with the second pick, no change again, the Washington Redskins are going to be taking Chase Young, defensive end out of Ohio State. Now, I saw you guys in the comment section, I saw a lot of you guys were saying, oh no, the Redskins are going to take Isaiah Simmons. A lot of you guys really like Isaiah Simmons. However, check this out. The Washington defense last year finished with the 10th most sacks and had the third highest quarterback pressure percentage. However, they were only 24th in blitzes sent, meaning that they are a very efficient team at getting after the quarterback. So when you add a guy like Chase Young, who already lives in the backfield, you're gonna be taking that middle of the pack defense and shooting them all the way up. For me, they're my sleeper, one of the top defense for all my fantasy guys. You might want to think about taking the Redskins defense if they pick up Chase Young, because they could be very good next year, especially with Ron Rivera as the coach now. And with the third pick, moving up 4 slots from my mock 1.0, I have the Detroit Lions taking Isaiah Simmons, linebacker slash safety out of Clemson. So the Lions just picked up Desmond Trufant from the Atlanta Falcons in free agency, so they're going to be able to help that secondary a little bit more, so they don't have to look at a guy like Jeff Okudah where they need to replace one of those corners. So hey, you add a guy like Isaiah Simmons, he's already a freak, and he's going to help with the passing game too, because he could drop back as a safety or he can get after the quarterback as a linebacker. So both of those are going to cause a lot of tip passes and things like that. So Isaiah Simmons, especially with Matt Patricia at the helm, Isaiah Simmons is going to be a monster in Detroit. And with the fourth pick, I have the Giants trading with the Chargers to pick up Tua Tagovailoa, quarterback out of Alabama. Now, obviously, the Chargers lost out on the Tom Brady sweepstakes, and from what I've been hearing, they really are not sold on Justin Herbert as a franchise quarterback, and I don't blame them. Really, I only see Joe Burrow and Tua Tagovailoa being franchise quarterbacks in this class. This is a kind of a weak quarterback class. So the Chargers move up and get the quarterback that they want. However, I feel like they're gonna have to give up a ton to move up just those 2 spots. I see the Giants picking up for sure next year's first round pick from them, but either this year's second round pick from the Chargers, or what would that be, 2023's first round pick. And with the fifth pick, the same as was in my mock 1.0, I have the Miami Dolphins taking Justin Herbert, quarterback out of Oregon. So if I'm a Miami Dolphins fan, I'm really happy with this spot, because either the Chargers are gonna have to make a drastic move up to go get Tua, or they're gonna not make that move, and then they have both quarterbacks at their option. So I'm having them with Justin Herbert because I really think that the Chargers really want Tua. So I think that they're gonna get Justin Herbert, which I don't see the franchise quarterback in them, but they need a quarterback there in Miami. So hey, give him Justin Herbert, and hopefully he does really well over there. And with the sixth pick, this is the pick that the Giants traded back with the Chargers for. The New York Giants are going to be taking Tristan Wirfs, offensive tackle out of Iowa. The Giants gave up the 11th most sacks last year, and they need to be protecting both of their investment pieces in Daniel Jones and Saquon Barkley. So reinforcing that offensive line only makes sense right here. And I think that Tristan Wirfs fits their system a little bit better than Jedrick Wills does. Jedrick Wills to me is the best pass protecting offensive lineman in this draft. So, and I don't see them really passing the ball that much with Daniel Jones at the quarterback spot. So giving them Tristan Wirfs is going to be a solid pick for their line. He's super athletic. He's going to be able to get out in front to help block for Saquon, things like that. So Tristan Wirfs right here to the Giants, I feel like is the best pick for them. And with the 7th pick, moving up 2 spots from my 1.0 mock, I have the Carolina Panthers taking Derek Brown, defensive tackle out of Auburn. Now the Panthers need to reinforce that defensive line because Gerald McCoy, Kyle Love, and Vernon Butler are all free agents, and they could potentially be leaving Carolina. And Dontari Poe is only under contract for 1 more year, so yeah, they need somebody to be able to help that defensive line, and why not pick up one of the just best prospects period in Derek Brown. Also moving up 2 spots from my mock 1.0, I have the Arizona Cardinals taking Jedrick Wills, offensive tackle out of Alabama. Now, obviously, Arizona picking up DeAndre Hopkins shook the whole NFL world, and also that pick was horrible for all receivers in the first round. They all, except for one who I bumped up into the first round, all of them fell from the original mock 1.0. So yeah, the receivers were kind of hurt moving from mock 1.0 to mock 2.0. But Arizona picked up their dynamic playmaking wide receiver, so they need to reinforce that offensive line because they gave up the most sacks last year. So they need to be able to protect Kyler Murray, as well as the fact that Jedrick Wills, like I said earlier, to me is the best pass protecting offensive tackle in this group. And with that Cliff Kingsbury offense, they need a lot of time to have those deep developing routes. So you need a guy like Jedrick Wills who's going to be able to give Kyler Murray time, as well as Kyler Murray, he can use his legs to get even more time. So Arizona, they're putting something together out there. And moving up 3 spots, I have the Jacksonville Jaguars taking Javon Kinlaw, defensive tackle out of South Carolina. Now the Jags need help on that defensive line. Calais Campbell's not getting any younger, and Yannick Ngakoue, even though they franchise tagged him, they're more than likely going to ship him off just so they don't get nothing from him for the next year's free agency. So yeah, they need somebody on that defensive line. So just picking up Javon Kinlaw, again, one of the best prospects period in this draft class, is a solid pick for them. And moving up 1 spot, I have the Cleveland Browns taking Mekhi Becton, offensive tackle out of Louisville. Now, if you guys watched my mock 1.0 draft, I was hoping that the Browns would not be taking Mekhi Becton because he is a super raw offensive tackle with probably the highest ceiling in this draft, but also the lowest floor. And the Browns have shown that they cannot develop talent, so I mean, Mekhi Becton is the right fit. The Browns gave up the 5th most sacks last year, so they need to be able to protect Baker Mayfield. But I pray that they bring in a solid offensive line coach who can develop Mekhi Becton, because if not, it's just going to be another story of the Browns failing out on their first round picks like they do what seems like every single year. And with the next pick, moving up 3 spots from the mock 1.0, I have the New York Jets taking Andrew Thomas, offensive tackle out of Georgia. Now, real quick, that DeAndre Hopkins trade, not only did it affect the wide receivers negatively in this draft, but it increased the value of offensive tackles a ton, because with Arizona taking Jedrick Wills at that number 8 spot, man, it bumped up the value of offensive tackles from picks 8 to 32 by so much. So you're going to see a lot of the offensive tackles moving in a positive direction in mock 2.0. So yeah, they just need to bolster up that offensive line. They gave up the most sacks when combined with Luke Falk and Sam Darnold. They gave up the most sacks out of any offensive line last year. On top of that, they had the 2nd fewest rushing yards. So they need that is probably the worst offensive line in all of football. So they need to help just reinforce that offensive line through and through. And Andrew Thomas, to me, is the best available tackle. So hey, they just need help there. And with the 12th pick, moving down 4 picks from mock 1.0, I have the Las Vegas Raiders taking CeeDee Lamb, wide receiver out of Oklahoma. Now the Cardinals taking Jedrick Wills at 8 is a blessing for the Raiders, because the Raiders get their pick. They can either go Jerry Jeudy or CeeDee Lamb. I think that they're gonna like CeeDee Lamb a little bit better for that offense, so that's why I'm giving them to them. But man, the Raiders get their pick at whatever receiver that they want. And with the 13th pick, moving down 7 picks from mock 1.0, I have the 49ers taking Jeff Okudah, cornerback out of Ohio State. So Jeff Okudah falling this much isn't necessarily a knock on him. It's more so the fact that after the Lions, the 49ers are the next team that desperately needs a corner. So just the value wasn't there from picks 3 to 12. But the 49ers need a young shutdown corner. I mean, Richard Sherman's not getting any younger. I mean, he's still playing at a very high level, but he's not getting any younger. So you need to just add a little bit of youth into that cornerback room, have him just brought up by one of the best cornerbacks to ever play the game. So you put Jeff Okudah in that cornerback room, and you're going to be seeing some good things out of that 49ers defense again next year. And remember how I was saying that the offensive tackle position got a huge bump up in value in this mock? Well, yeah, check this one out. Moving up 13 spots, I have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers taking offensive tackle out of Houston, Josh Jones. Tampa Bay won the Tom Brady sweepstakes. Now it's time to protect them. Jeez, did the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have a bad offensive line last year. Obviously, Jameis was holding the ball a little bit too much, so obviously a lot of those sacks are going to be because of him. But yo, Tom Brady, Jameis is more athletic than Tom Brady, so he's not going to be able to get out of as many sacks that Jameis potentially could. So they need to protect him. They already have all the offensive weapons. They already got the defense in order. So yo, protect Tom Brady and see if y'all can make a run to the Super Bowl this year. Next up, falling 2 picks, I have the Denver Broncos taking Jerry Jeudy, wide receiver out of Alabama. So I'm super excited because obviously, as you guys can see, I'm a Bronco fan. So for us to be able to get Jerry Jeudy at 15, that is awesome. We need somebody who can consistently get open. Courtland Sutton is our big play, throw it over the top, big body wide receiver. And then you pair a guy like Jerry Jeudy who can run every single route in the route tree, and he can get open underneath and in the middle. Bro, this is going to help open up Denver's offense so much. And it's going to help Drew Lock's progression too, because of having a guy who is able to get that open that consistently as a Jerry Jeudy, that's going to help him a ton, as well as as soon as the defense starts to key more on him, hey, you got a Pro Bowl wide receiver on the other side in Courtland Sutton. And at 16, the same as it was in my mock 1.0 draft, I have the Atlanta Falcons taking Cle'Veon Chason, defensive end out of LSU. So the Falcons needed a defensive end before they lost Vic Beasley, and then they went and lost Vic Beasley to the Tennessee Titans. So yeah, they just need a pass rusher, and Cle'Veon Chason's the best available, so this just makes too much sense. And with the 17th pick, I have the Dallas Cowboys taking CJ Henderson, cornerback out of Florida. Now, I heard you guys in the comment section. Everyone was like, CJ Henderson's not in your top first round. What do you mean, CJ Henderson? Honestly, that was a big goof on my part. For some reason, I just forgot to put, I just was looking over CJ Henderson when I was looking at my available players. For some reason, I just missed him. I thought that I had already given him to a team. Honestly, I just forgot to put him in the mock. So yeah, CJ Henderson for me is my second best corner in this draft. So yo, give them to Dallas where they need to replace Byron Jones anyway. So that's a perfect fit. So yeah, CJ Henderson to the Cowboys. And with the 18th pick, I have the Miami Dolphins taking Kristen Fulton, cornerback out of LSU. So the Dolphins need to address their secondary woes. I mean, they gave up the 4th most yards through the air last year, so they need a corner who's going to be able to mitigate that next year. And with the 19th pick, I have the Las Vegas Raiders taking Patrick Queen, linebacker out of LSU. Again, ever since the Raiders let Khalil Mack go to the Bears, they needed help with that middle. I mean, they needed help at the middle linebacker spot before they let go of Khalil Mack. So clearly after, they needed help with that linebacker role. So picking up a guy like Patrick Queen is going to be perfect for them. And with the next pick, moving up 11 spots from the mock 1.0, I have the Jacksonville Jaguars taking Jordan Love, quarterback out of Utah State. So clearly now that Nick Foles is a Bear, the Jags need a quarterback. And so the best available quarterback is Jordan Love. So hey, it's pretty simple, plug and play. And the next pick, falling 6 spots, I have the Philadelphia Eagles taking Henry Ruggs III, wide receiver out of Alabama. So yeah, like I said, that DeAndre Hopkins trade messed up every single receiver. Every single receiver fell in the draft because of that pick. But Henry Ruggs is going to be going to a great franchise. I mean, they already know how to use the speedsters. I mean, you got guys like Deshaun Jackson who are still on the roster who can help coach up Henry Ruggs on how to be that really quick guy. And hey, the Eagles might have picked up this year's Tyreek Hill. And with the 22nd pick, I have the Minnesota Vikings taking Jeff Gladney, cornerback out of TCU. So the Vikings just released Xavier Rhodes, so they need a guy to be able to fill in his position. So hey, picking up who I believe is the best available corner just makes sense. And with the next pick, falling 5 picks, I have the New England Patriots taking AJ Epinesa, edge rusher out of Iowa. So since Jordan Love is already off the table, there's no reason in reaching and pulling up one of these second round quarterbacks up into the first round. There's no reason to do that. So they go and help with their defense. They were already a monster last year. I mean, I'm pretty sure they had the #1 defense last year. So you just keep on adding them pass rushers. And AJ Epinesa is a Bill Belichick type player. He wasn't super flashy at the combine, but the dude just gets stuff done. I mean, he's just a power rusher who can just get after the quarterback. And next up, falling 3 spots, I have the New Orleans Saints picking up Justin Jefferson, wide receiver out of LSU. Now, to me, this is the best case situation for Justin Jefferson. I mean, you get to stay in your home state of Louisiana, and you get to play for arguably one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time in Drew Brees. And you're also paired on the other side with Michael Thomas, one of the most up-and-coming rising receivers. So they need help at receiver. I mean, after Michael Thomas, it's nobody. So they need a second receiving option. And if Justin Jefferson is able to develop like Michael Thomas did, yo, Saints might have something over there if they're able to pick up Justin Jefferson. And with the next pick, I have the Minnesota Vikings taking Austin Jackson, offensive tackle out of USC. So the Vikings need to secure that offensive line, and after losing a guy like Stephon Diggs, their offense is not going to be as dynamic and as spread open, so guys aren't going to be able to get as open as easily and as quickly, meaning that Kirk Cousins is going to need a little bit more time with the ball in his hands, so you need to reinforce that offensive line for that reason. And with the 26th pick, I have the Miami Dolphins taking Lucas Niang, offensive tackle out of TCU. So the Dolphins gave up the 8th most sacks last year, so clearly they need to reinforce that offensive line, as well as the fact that they just got the new quarterback in Justin Herbert, so they want to make sure that they're keeping him protected so that he can grow into potentially their franchise guy. And with the next pick, moving up 2 spots, I have the Seattle Seahawks taking Yetur Gross-Matos, defensive end out of Penn State. And the reason why I emphasize that is because, guys, it's super late when I record this, so in the first video when I said BYU, you guys got to give me a break on that. Y'all were roasting me in the comment section. By the way, if you guys have gotten to this point of the video, please be sure to leave this video a like. Again, I've put a lot of work into this mock draft as well as the first one, so just leave this video a like. So with Seattle potentially losing Jadeveon Clowney as well as a few other edge rushers, they need to make sure that they're secured going into the 2020 season. So picking up another edge rusher in Yetur Gross-Matos, it just only makes sense to help secure that defensive line for the Seattle Seahawks. Now, obviously, they need to also protect Russell Wilson, but I feel like at this point, they can go and just pick up an offensive tackle in the 2nd and 3rd, 4th round of the NFL draft. And with the 28th pick, staying the same as it was in my mock 1.0 draft, I have the Baltimore Ravens taking Kenneth Murray, linebacker out of Oklahoma. Now, the Ravens need a guy who's able to get after the quarterback at that linebacker position. I mean, they had the 8th fewest sacks in 2019. However, they blitzed more often than any other defense did last year, so clearly they're not able to get after the quarterback efficiently. So adding a guy like Kenneth Murray is going to be able to help you not only in the run support game, but he's also going to be able to get after that quarterback a little bit too. And with the next pick, falling 2 spots, I have the Tennessee Titans taking Ezra Cleveland, offensive tackle out of Boise State. Now the Titans need to replace Jack Conklin, as well as they need to protect their new franchise quarterback in Ryan Tannehill, who they just re-signed up to a nice little deal. So just picking up the best, who I believe is the best available tackle, it just only makes sense right here. And with the next pick, again, the receivers fell a ton in this draft. Falling 9 spots, I have the Green Bay Packers taking Denzel Mims, wide receiver out of Baylor. Now, it is no secret that the Green Bay Packers need another receiver. I mean, after Devontae Adams went down last year with the turf toe, the receivers on the Green Bay Packers were just pitiful. I mean, they could not get anything done. I mean, there was a couple sparks here and there, but they need a true number 2 guy. And so I think picking up a guy like Denzel Mims, who's able to just really stretch open that field, and obviously Aaron Rodgers got the arm to get it out to him, so I feel like this is going to be a great pick for the Packers. And with the 31st pick, I have the San Francisco 49ers taking Cesar Ruiz, center out of Notre Dame. So the 49ers were able to get a huge picking up Jeff Okudah with their first round pick, so being able to help that interior offensive line with their second, picking up the best available center, I think that's going to be a very solid first round for the San Francisco 49ers. And with the last pick of the first round, I have the defending Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs taking running back DeAndre Swift out of Georgia. So we all saw how scary dominant the Chiefs offense was when they had Kareem Hunt. I mean, they're still already scary, but they don't have Kareem Hunt anymore. So being able to add the best pass catching as well as just pure talent running back in this draft in DeAndre Swift, I always say just double down on what you're already good at. The Chiefs offense is already fire. You give them a solid running back in DeAndre Swift, they're going to be making a run at the Super Bowl again next year. Just watch. Alrighty, you guys, but that is my mock draft 2.0. Again, I've put so much work into this. Anytime that any of these trades go through, that is hours that I'm spending trying to reorganize. Okay, where does this player go? Where does that player go? Like, okay, they fix this need so now they can get this player, but that takes, like, a lot of stuff goes into these mock drafts. So guys, the least that I'm asking for you guys is just please leave this video a like if you've gotten to this point of the video. And if you guys like the content that I'm making, hit that subscribe button because it just lets me know that you guys want to keep on watching my videos. All right, y'all, but with that being said, I'm tired. I'm about to go to bed. So I'll catch y'all in the next video. Ciao.